It's one of those things that was probably destined to happen. I met Rob, who produced the record. I don't remember when it was, but one day he said, "How would you feel about making a recording in Nashville?" And I said, "Of course, I'd love to." Nashville's music. It's music all around you, all the time, non-stop. And I love a good song. My dad used to sing in big bands in the 40s in Melbourne. So there was always music in the house. My sister bought the first record player for the family, and she listened to Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett and great singers like that. But I never thought about music as a career or, looked at any band, even when I was really young. In 1975, I was living with a woman in Sydney, and she came home with a newspaper, and it said auditioning for Jesus Christ Superstar. And she said, "You should go and audition." And I said, "Why would I want to do that?" And she said, "Because you can sing." And I said, "Everybody can sing." And I remember she said, "Everybody can't sing like you do." And I didn't have anything prepared. So I got off the plane and went to a music store on the way to the theatre. And I looked through all the sheet music and I picked out Bridge Over Troubled Waters, which I thought I could sing. So I went to the theatre and there were 300 or 400 people there waiting to audition. And the guy comes up and says, "What are you going to sing?" And I said, "Bridge Over Troubled Waters." And he goes, "I wouldn't sing that, man. It's not a good choice, So by the time I got to sing the song, I was a nervous wreck. I had to hang onto the piano. I was like, "Oh, God." And it was all, But ultimately the producer called up and said, "Do you want to be in the show for a couple of years?" I was just, it blew my mind. I didn't ever consider I would be good enough to do that. But on the first day of rehearsals, I met Graham, and 2 weeks later we were actually working on his songs. We didn't have a name for the band, or a band or an entity, Graham came in a couple of days after that, and he said, "I think I have a name for the band." And I go, "Okay, what is that?" And he says, "I had a dream last night, and there was a big billboard with lights around it, and it said Air Supply." So I said, "Good for me." That simple. The first song he ever played me was actually the first song that we released in Australia, and it was called Love and Other Bruises, which is a great title. All the time slips through your fingers. And it just had that stuff that he writes, very simple lyrics, great melody that was very memorable. And when we sang it together, it was any kind of harmonies we did or where the song went was just a natural thing that just flowed from both of us, And that was a monster hit for us. We knew that we had something special. We just had to find an avenue to get it out to not only Australia but the world. But we just, once again, or for the first time, stuck to our guns and said, "This is what we do, and we just have to find somebody that's interested." And when CBS heard it, the guy flipped out. He said that this song, Love and Other Bruises, he said it's a hit song. So we recorded our first album recorded and mixed, photographed and out in 7 days. Rod Stewart was touring Australia in December of 1976, and our management at the time were good friends with his manager, Billy Gaff. I don't know exactly what happened, but we got to open for him in Australia in all the major cities. It was only a 7-city tour, and after the second show, Rod came to us and said, "Do you guys want to open for me in North America in 1977? So who's not going to do that, right?" We went, "Yeah, that'd be great," because we were very successful in Australia right at that point in time, and we jumped at the chance. Because we absorbed everything for, those few months, and came back to Australia thinking that we would be the all-conquering heroes because we just opened for Rod Stewart. And we got back, and I think the only people that were at the airport were a couple of girlfriends and a dog, to welcome back the heroes, I did some jingles here and there, Coca-Cola and Maxwell House and a few things to make some kind of a living. And Graham called that year and said, "I've written a bunch of songs, why don't you come to Adelaide in South Australia and bring a couple of guys that were in the last band that we had, and we'll see what's going on." And once again, the first song he played me was Lost in Love. And I told him that's a hit straight away. And we were signed by another record company there, and that was released, and it was a monster hit, you know. Graham and I have been on the road now for 36 years, so it's, you know, that's an achievement. I've known him since 1975, and we've never had a disagreement at all, not a hiccup in our relationship. We both bring very separate things to the table for Air Supply. We both know each other's strengths, and we're very lucky, but, you know, we have the stuff to back it up. Just a lot of good stuff's happened to us, you know. It's one of those things that was probably destined to happen. I met Rob, who produced the record, and I don't remember when it was, but one day he said, "How would you feel about making a recording in Nashville?" And I said, "Of course, I'd love to." So the first process was to find the songs, and obviously, you know, with Better Angels, they have great songwriters. Well, we ended up listening to probably 300 songs to pick the 20 for this project. Rob and I were at dinner, I think, in Nashville. I don't know, I think he probably mentioned it, something about the sessions. I said, "What about Russell Hitchcock, the Nashville sessions?" All of the 20 songs is, you know, a little story, and that's what's great about these CDs as well. There's love songs and anger songs and sad songs and biographical songs, you know, it's everything.
It's late, it's time to go home. I can give you a ride if you want. I don't want to be alone.
Hold Me Like You Love Me is probably my favourite song right now. It's just, it sounds really warm to me, and it sounds intimate, and it sounds, you know, I can see candlelight, and, you know, it's just beautiful.
If you hold me like you love me.